Discuss it. Discuss it. Like Usher, damn Usher boy. I think everybody know Usher a freak, man. He gonna be grabbing on stuff.
Listen,
You know that.
okay, let me start here. The Super Bowl was absolutely outstanding. I enjoyed the game from start to finish. I did
Yeah.
not enjoy the halftime show.
Mm, that's interesting.
I
Let's
did
talk
not.
about it then. Let's talk about it. Hey, it's part of the discussion. Let's talk about it. Why what was some of the things
I was
you weren't really
as far as the halftime show, I was underwhelmed.
okay.
Like I was expecting, I wasn't expecting that. Like after talking with a few people,
I
let
was
me
I
say,
wasn't expecting that. Hilarious.
I wasn't. After, I don't know, like in the beginning to me, it felt choppy
Mm-hmm.
and it like there was no flow to it, and and it felt like it was dragging. I don't know, the energy was off something. Because honestly, I watched the entire halftime show sitting right here where I am right now. Except I was like curled up and leaned back, looking like this. I was like, I was like, wow,
Don't make me
we're
clap.
not gonna tap a foot, get up, nothing. Like, cause I was ready, thinking I was gonna be jamming, dancing,
Oh
all of
God.
that. And her, Little John, and Luda saved that performance.
Look,
And
look.
and
I'm
and Alicia Keys laying her outfit. I didn't need the
was that
performance.
was but was that backdrop, was that her dress as well? They said that was like her part of her dress, right? That
Yeah, I
backdrop.
think that back part when it first came on, that was
And
part of
then
her
she
dress. Like,
disconnected from it. I was like, that's
yeah,
thick.
yeah. She slayed and served. Do you hear me?
I
She
don't
slayed
care.
and served in that
I'm
outfit.
I'm very married, but she's still back. Good Lord. I'm like, she ain't aging a bit. She
Listen, she
Christ.
was giving she was giving the people booty and thighs for
She
days.
gave, and she always has been long. I mean, because she's not tall, but she's long legged. She's long, and I met her,
Yeah.
not met her, but I was standing near her, like, it wasn't the backstage, but we went to an event, and it was like the expo, and she was there, and I was
Okay.
walking, and I was like, well, she's not that tall, but her legs was up to here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's all legs,
Yeah.
boy. Good Lord. Anyway,
Yeah. And like she looked amazing.
yeah.
And their performance has given me good comedy since then. Because the people are talking about Usher in the way. I even made a post. I was like, how many times that guy got to tell you, don't leave your girl around me, true player for real. Okay.
His entire hit, number one, number two, number three hits is about being with somebody else.
Stealing,
I
Mr.
made
Look,
me want to
I know
leave the
Trey
one I'm
Songz
with.
has a
Made
song,
me want
Mr.
to leave the
Sugar
one I'm with. Let it burn. I got a call.
Confessions. Like that man, what that man ain't, he don't care nothing about whether or not he in a relationship or the person he with in a relationship. He don't care nothing about it. Okay.
It's always. And then his first single was "Just Call Me the Mac." What you think, Mac?
Right, right. I said that man has said what he said.
From the
Okay.
beginning, when he was a teenager, just call me the Mac, because I got it
Right.
like that.
That man has said what he said. Okay. And I don't know why y'all keep playing with him. So,
Oh, oh,
but I just I don't the but after talking with a few people who were like they enjoyed it, but they felt like maybe he had too many songs in there, and I was like, you know what? I think that's what it was. Like
it was. That's why. So if you think about,
he tried to get 30 years worth of music in
yeah,
15 minutes,
and you
and
can't really. You got
and
to pick.
nobody needed that.
Nah, you just got
Like,
to pick and choose. You just got to pick and choose.
right, sir, give me like typically when artists are performing at halftime, they give you 5, 6 solid hits
Hmm.
and they're done. But they perform them enough so that you can get into a groove, you can dance, you can vibe with it and enjoy it. Everything his felt like if you're at a party with a DJ that won't let the record spin,
Mm,
he keeps scratching and moving and scratching and moving, and you're like, bruh, I can't catch the rhythm. And
hmm.
that's how I felt like it started out. And then once her and then Lil Jon and Luda, like they actually performed songs.
Yeah, they let that a couple of those songs play out.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, here we are. Now I'm getting into the groove, but at that point it's over. But I had been hoping the whole time. They had never said that Lil Jon and Luda were coming, but I had been hoping the whole time. I was like, please let him bring on Lil Jon and Luda. That'll be hot. So that gave me what I needed. But I just I was underwhelmed. I've definitely seen better. People were super excited. Yeah. And they're like, oh, but it was Usher. And I was like, I'm not hating on Usher. I just didn't like the halftime performance. And I'm not saying I wouldn't go see him in concert, because in concert, I'm certain it's amazing because he's going to perform the whole song.
I had put it up there because of the fact that what you mentioned, the people he had with him and how they impacted the show. Because with a Lil Jon, when her came on, I about lost it. Because I love her.
Yes, look, I love her. And she is so underrated.
She is so good. And then Alicia Keys is Alicia Keys. You're right. Okay, boom. And when she was there, nobody was like surprised, because it was like, okay, you got the song. You let her do her thing with her little song, and then y'all do y'all little song. But then when Lil Jon came out there, I was like, okay, like you said, it's a party now. But then it was at the end. I was not expecting Luda. When Luda came out there, I actually lost my mind, because I'm a Luda fan from beginning to the end. I literally lost my mind. And so he saved it with that. Then people was like, oh my God, he was dancing on roller skates. I said, y'all didn't dance. Y'all were into roller skates back in the 80s. That's what people do. They were dancing like,
right.
Usher knows how to roller skate.
It's okay. Knows how to roller skate,
it's cool.
Also,
it's different,
really,
but damn, y'all making it seem like, I mean,
and the thing
living such hyperbole, man.
He's been doing that in Vegas the whole time of his Vegas residency, part of the show. Because honestly, that to me looked like it was a Vegas
finale show. It was like a Vegas finale show. Like, you bring all the pieces in, and then you have it. At the end of the day, it was entertaining enough for me. There's just too many other performances out there, and too many performances with certain significant value for me to start. You know me. It's always hard for me to be GOAT this, best that. There's only a couple scenarios that I'm just.
And like I said, I was just, and I guess probably because it was Usher, I was expecting so much.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting a fantastic performance, and because, like I said, it just felt choppy and not well put together.
I would give you that. It was. The artist helped.
Underwhelmed. I was expecting to dance, because before it started, I had made the post on Facebook. I was like, have y'all stretched for Usher? Because I was expecting to get up and dance like I did when Dr. Dre and Snoop and Mary J. Blige and Eminem did the halftime show.
Lenise,
I was up for the entire time. Like, I broke a sweat in my living room on it.
No, but just be real. I was at the Super Bowl party last year. The whole time. Rihanna was. People were up and partying when Rihanna was on last year. Like, Rihanna got slapped,
and I got up at halftime and I was getting it. I was like, hey, listen, we up in there dancing. My crew was like, what is happening right now?
Well, what I'm saying is, she couldn't do all the stuff that she would normally do, because, boom. But the tracks, the tracks that she have, you couldn't help but get up and dance. We was in there having a ball doing the halftime show.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, let's, to the game, man. A game, all these, of course, I'm not going to have a chance to really be looking at shows like that moving forward, starting this new job. But I said, I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these shows while I'm doing this virtual training and stuff this week. And I just looked, and I was just like, a game like that, there's too many pieces to pick one that says that one was the game. Like, there was so much stuff in that game. There was so much stuff.
There was a lot of moving parts in that game.
There was a lot of moving parts in that game where you could go, what the? Oh, okay. Oh, damn. What the? Ooh, you missed it. They just won. I have come to the conclusion, situational football wise, Andy Reid and that coaching staff being led, giving the reins and letting Patrick Mahomes, who is good, and the guys they just get it. It's like, and it's not like they can't lose, but they just,
Right.
I think they just get it. It's kind of like when we was watching the Patriots over the years beat up a bad division, get to the playoffs, win a couple games during the Super Bowl, and people was like, "Oh, the Patriots again." I was like, guys, they just get it. It's just something about the situational aspect of the game, the little nuances of the game that they just get it, and that 9 times out of 10 it works out for them. I don't know if there's anything like there's just stuff that they weren't doing in the first half. They started doing little things in the second half. For some reason, the 49ers started doing a little bit something different, and it's just something about the Chiefs mystique. I don't know if it's a Jordan effect with Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I have no idea, but they just somehow
well let me say this. There were a couple of things, and I'm gonna apologize to the casual football fans because I know for like the first probably
I ain't worried about them.
2 hours and some change, they were in misery over that game.
I ain't worried about them.
But for us purists, us football fans to the core that understood what was happening on that field from the beginning, that was an absolute clinic in just football and in defense and special teams and coaches just battling with wits and wills. It was masterful. It was absolutely fantastic.
It was a chess match.
It was absolutely
right at the
chess.
end. It was a chess match that right at the end turned the checkers. Right at the end, it went from chess right at the end. It turned the checkers. It turned the checkers.
Let me say this: you discussed how great Andy Reid and them are with situational football, and it's how bad Kyle Shanahan is at situational football. Like they are at complete polar opposites.
And that's
Kyle Shanahan won't run the football to save his life or win a Super Bowl.
And
because let me be clear.
Yeah.
Whether you are a casual football fan or not, it should just dictate to you that if you have the lead, you run the football. And in the third quarter, they had the lead. It wasn't a big lead, but they got the best player on the field in CMC at that time. And they not running this man. And somebody was like, I was in a group chat, and the guy was like, well, they had to abandon the run because it wasn't working. I was like, they were getting 3 to 4 yards at a clip. It was working. Because if you're getting 3 to 4 yards on first down, that means you're staying in third and short. It was working. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I'm going to run CMC until you stop him or he pops a hamstring. I just am. Because I'm going to die on that hill. If we don't win and I've run that man 50 times, then fine. I will eat that. It's kind of like when Pete Carroll decided he wasn't going to run Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line for the touchdown. I'm going to run Marshawn Lynch 4 times. And if we don't get the touchdown, then I'm going to live with not winning the Super Bowl.
So let's stay on Shanahan with those decisions, right? So like not running the ball. I think the other part of it too is that, and this is what I was saying about the situational aspect of how the Chiefs started to make different, like if people really know football, you know it, and most people don't. You go back and really look, you can start to see, and maybe it wasn't even just halftime. It was probably halftime adjustment, but it was probably more like, okay, guys, you see what they're doing. Now let's go to the counter because obviously they have enough experience with Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and these guys. Like you said, got a little help from Eric Bieniemy, and you called it. And bottom line is, they started doing little nuances with their approach, and it seemed like with Shanahan, because look, you can not like Tony Romo, you can hate him, he said one thing in that broadcast down the stretch of the game. He said, I know Spagnolia, and I know that Spaz is going to live and die with bringing pressure. So basically, he was saying you should anticipate pressure every single play moving from this point in the game. Now, if Tony Romo, who's sitting in the freaking booth, can say that, how the hell are you calling plays where even if you're not running the ball, Lanice, there's this thing called a swing pass to the running back? There's this pass you can run what was the wide banana, whatever that play that John Gruden kept calling that one thing, wide spring banana or something, where the running back goes out into the flat. Like, you can get the ball to him. It was one play in the game where you saw the pressure come, and Purdy, he backed up, he took a half a step and tossed it. Oh, perfect timing, hit CMC, boom, 15-yard gain. You know what I'm saying? Where those plays go? Like, down the stretch, I'm like, you still trying to let this man back, and I'm not getting on Purdy, because guess what? I don't care what quarterback you are. You're not throwing the ball with a 6'5" Chris Jones in your lap every time.
And how do you not
why are you
Chris
putting
Jones?
that man in that position when you got CMC? Just give him the ball. Like,
but how do you let Chris Jones come through on block?
Oh my God, did you see that?
Bruh, I was like, what just happened? Because
Brock Purdy said, no. Brock Purdy said what just happened.
Right. Because it was a wide open. Ayuk was wide open in the end zone.
There were two plays, and people were talking about Purdy got to make that play. I said, go back and look at the play. You can get on Purdy for not being dynamic, but you can't get on him. That man had Chris Jones in his lap on both of those plays, and y'all have to know that if he could have sat his foot, both of those were touchdowns. If Chris Jones wasn't there, Purdy wasn't playing bad football, that he was missing throws. So if he had a chance to put his foot in the ground on those plays, he was going to hit those. Right. He was going to hit those throws.
And remember, when he was, because I was watching Inside the NFL, and they had everybody mic'd up basically for the Super Bowl, so you could actually hear what the coaches were saying in that moment. And before he had gone in, the last thing they said to Brock Purdy was, "You can't take a sack."
Exactly. So he's going to go. He's going to get rid of the ball.
So he wasn't going to try to move anywhere. He just, in his head, I can't take a sack.
3 seconds, I got to get rid of the ball.
And oh, by the way, y'all didn't block this man. Y'all didn't block him.
So that's when I was saying, I was like, they ran it in. Because that's why I was saying they ran an in and out move on a blitz, and then I was realizing, well, it was a blitz, but it wasn't technically a blitz. They just missed Chris Jones, because if somebody would have just clipped him, he could have just rolled out a little bit and hit that pass.
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing. That's the difference between certain games. I'm not saying, but to your point.
And then also, in the first half, the 49ers, because I was watching, again, I watched the whole game. And let's be honest, in the first half, the Chiefs were shell-shocked, because they absolutely were Travis Kelce melting down, the defense calling their own little side meetings on the sidelines. Them boys was like, wait, they's out here really trying to beat us. And they were shell-shocked. Like, you had them on the ropes, and you got to finish them.
But look,
and then you got things like CMC gonna fumble the ball. What are you doing?
When does that happen?
That man doesn't fumble the ball. You gonna fumble in the Super Bowl? What are you doing?
I sat there.
Dude muffin the punt. Like, what is happening right now? What are y'all doing?
Look, he gonna point to the man, knowing it's loud. The ball hits the ankle. Okay, that's cool. That happens. Dive on the ball. Just jump on it. He trying to pick it up.
Again, situational football.
Dive on the ball. Football. Dive on the ball, guys.
I just need you on the ball. Yeah, I don't need you trying to. It was
just a lot of stuff like that, man. I mean, like you said, the 49ers still could have won. They still could have won that game, man.
They could have, but also in the fourth quarter, everybody watching the game in the arena, all of the things.
Steve Wilkes.
Here's what everybody but Steve Wilkes, apparently. Here's what I know. Game on the line. Y'all, first of all, you left Patrick Mahomes too much time, because it was 1 minute and 53 seconds. Too much time. But second, here's what I know. 2 minutes before he came on the field, I was like, I hope they know that the ball's going to Travis Kelce. Twice, that man is uncovered. What are you doing? Because here's what you don't get to do. You don't get to beat me with Travis Kelce. You just don't. I'ma dare you to beat me with somebody else. Listen, the Eagles did it. We was like, we put three, when we played him this season, what did we do? We put 3 dudes on Travis Kelce. And we was like, Patrick gonna have to throw to somebody else. And if MVS had caught that ball, we'd have lived with that touchdown and losing the game that way. But it wasn't gonna be Travis Kelce. But he didn't catch the ball. Game, set, match, Eagles. What we're not gonna do is not put nobody on Travis Kelce.
What happened was they went to a soft zone, and the thing was killing me about this. Prevent whatever. What was killing me was if you go down and you score points and you're up 3, and you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side. I don't care if it's 4 minutes left, 2 minutes left, or a minute left. You got to make a decision. And this is why I say now it's the Mahomes effect or the Jordan effect or whatever, right? Brady effect, all that stuff.
Right.
You got to make a decision right then and there. I'm sorry. I'm the coordinator. I ain't getting paid nothing. I know right then and there, I'm going to my defense and I'm saying, look, guys, we're going to play this straight up. Whatever happens, happens. We're going to stop him. We got to call plays to stop him. A soft zone, dropping your safeties back 20 yards, 30 yards. And you literally played conservative for a tie. I don't care what anybody says. He did not want to lose the game by having him get a ball over that defense. And I'm thinking to myself, you should have had the complete 180. You should have said, we're going to let it all hang out because if we can stop them, the game is over.
We don't have to go to overtime.
And because if we go to overtime, what's the percentage? What is the percentage of you stopping Patrick Mahomes again in overtime? Oh, by the way, we take the ball. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about the overtime thing. I actually, first of all, this is where you have to kind of tell yourself at times, Lanice, it's not nice to lie, but sometimes you need to. What happened with the overtime? We just made a mistake. I am not admitting to no one that I did not read the rule book and I did not know the rules. You ain't getting that out of me. You ain't getting that out of me. I'm lying. But here's the players.
But the thing is, here's the thing. Again, Kyle Shanahan, as good as Andy Reid is in situational football, is as bad as Kyle Shanahan is in situational football. To be clear, in the history of the NFL and the Super Bowl era and football and games and all of the things, and it's been around 100+ years, there have been two Super Bowls that have gone to overtime. Kyle Shanahan's been in both of them. Sir, what?
And both of them have been at least 10-point comebacks.
But, sir, so you tell us in the post game that you knew the rules had changed and what they were for overtime. And then you say we took the ball because we felt like if we scored and then they got the ball and they scored, that meant we were going to play and we would get the ball a third time and we could go ahead and win it. Well, not if you're not scoring a touchdown.
And that's the thing. That is the key right there.
A field goal, you are banking on yourself because your answer is after you score the field goal is you go out and tell your defense you got to hold them to 3 points. Well, good luck. But here's the problem. Your players didn't know the rules had changed. Them dudes thought that if we score, we're good because in the post game, they all said they didn't know the rules were different in the playoffs. So Kyle, you and your coaching staff and your analytics people knew that the rules had changed, but you didn't have a conversation with your team so that they knew. They didn't realize that they needed to be playing for a touchdown. That was the only way you keep that game going and have a chance to get the ball a third time. A second time.
And so here's what I'm gonna say.
And you're telling me y'all didn't listen before the coin toss. Because the referee, the man got there and he said, the halftime rules have changed. These are the rules. We are essentially starting a new game. He told you about your timeouts. He told you there was no challenges. Told you about how reviews were going to work. He gave you all of the things. He was very detailed.
Hold up, Lanice. I'm gonna go one further. he also, and I'm gonna have to go back and verify this, but somebody said he also said, "Do you have any questions?"
He did. He did. Do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions? No. What's your call? Tails again. And then when he said we take the ball, did you see the look on Patrick Mahomes' face? Go back and look. He was like, we kick it this way.
He was like, and he looked, and it's Pete. You gotta watch Inside the NFL. You gotta watch it, because I watched it tonight before we did this. It was on Inside the NFL Super Bowl edition.
Okay.
You gotta watch it because everybody, like I said, everybody's mic'd up. So all the stuff that you couldn't hear during the game, because they're mic'd up, you can hear it. Okay. Patrick Mahomes is running to the side. Yes. Because listen, but Andy Reid is looking confused. Like, as Patrick's running over, he was like, I thought they won the toss. Patrick was like, they wanted the ball. Like, everybody on the Chiefs side is confused. Everybody on the Chiefs side is like, they wanted the ball. Patrick was like, so we let him have it.
So let's go back to that philosophy. Okay, let's just say.
But here's the thing.
What's up?
Well, back to before we get to the philosophy part. To be clear, everybody on the Chiefs side knew the rules.
But why do they know the rules though, Denise?
Because Andy Reid's situational football, Andy Reid, when they did his post interview, he was like, well, we started talking about the overtime rule changes in training camp. He said, because it's different than it used to be. He said, so we talked about that. And then he was like, and then because it changes, it's different in the playoff. He's like, we started talking about that on the playoff run.
Well, but I'll take it one step further. They asked Patrick Mahomes. They created the rule. They're the reason for the rule.
Exactly.
Remember, that's why they know the
because of Joe Burrow. I'm not Joe Burrow.
No. Josh Allen. The Josh Allen game. That's what Patrick Mahomes said. Patrick Mahomes said we knew the rules because we're basically the reason for the rules in the post game. Right. Well, he was interviewing with Chris Berman and Booger McFarland. He was like, yeah, of course we knew the rules because we were the ones that caused the rules. So that's the awareness. They already knew. So yeah, you practice. Okay, what we do? We gonna do this. Okay, boom, it's over. Like, they knew exactly.
Everybody knew. But I was like, how they taking the ball? Because you at that point have already said we have given Patrick Mahomes 4 downs. Well, that's what I'm not doing.
But see, here's the key. I'm okay with people saying that because it is a true statement. But my point is this: you go back to what you said before, is where I think you're doubling down on the decision. Okay, you take the ball. You got to go for it on 4th down and score a touchdown. You have to. Like, if you take that ball and you're saying that you knew the rule, you kind of knew it, but the players didn't know it. I'm going to get to the players in a second here. You got 4 yards to get a touchdown to put at least a little bit pressure, because the other part of this equation that what I don't think Shanahan's understanding, again, situational football, Harrison Butler, I can't even think his last name, the damn kicker for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell you're gonna shut them out. They're gonna get 3 points. They only got to go to the 50-yard line for him to kick a 60-something yard field goal. So you're not even taking into consideration the amount of yards that Patrick Mahomes has to go to get a field goal. You gotta go for the touchdown. Okay, you don't get it. Everybody in the entire world that knows football would have been like, you were trying to beat him. You know what I'm saying? Because you going for 3. You made it clear to me that you were playing for a tie to get the ball. Who the hell think they're going to get the ball a second time? And you give it, come on.
And I got a chance. And even if and here's the thing, if it wasn't Patrick Mahomes, if I've given somebody you mean to tell me you kicked the field goal and I got to score a touchdown to win? Guess what I'm doing? Everything. I don't want to see y'all no more.
And like they said, you go second. It's a lot of reasons you go second. The college rules, right? Overtime rules gives you the understanding of going second is always an advantage. But my point is, somewhere down in that middle of that 4th quarter, they started playing not to lose, and that was to me the entire game from that. When they started doing that, I was looking at the game, And I was, sending messages, y'all. But I was looking at the game and I'm going, it's got to be the Andy Reid Mahomes effect because they're starting to play not to lose. They stop playing to win because the other part is
and that's the same thing they did. That's the same thing Kyle Shanahan did when he was the OC for the Falcons.
Because they started playing.
You started playing.
I don't understand. You gotta,
instead of playing to win.
And your defense, you had to know that your defense was overachieving just a little bit. Not the defensive line. They played their butts off. But at one point, even the defensive line, like, dude, this is Patrick Mahomes, yo. What y'all want me to do? You playing what? You want us to go another possession, coach? What are we doing?
And he also said that their defense. He also said in the post-game interview, that the defense was tired because they had just played the end of the game. So he was like, they took the ball because it was going to give defense a chance to rest.
And that's why I told you, as Steve Wilkes is the defensive coordinator, look, this is freaking Super Bowl, guys.
Right. I need everybody to dig deep.
We ain't playing soft coverage. No,
everybody on the field have been playing the same amount of time.
But my point is, it doesn't really matter.
Too, so you're not going to tell me their offense wasn't tired.
But when you say stuff like that, my defense is tired. Like, okay, what? They're not conditioned? Like, this is football. Like, they're professionals. Tell them to suck it up and try. Look, go out there and do it one more time. Here's the other part. You had timeouts. Why didn't you call timeouts on defense? You knew you weren't getting the ball back that last drive. So why not call timeouts and let your defense rest? You ain't getting the ball back. Like, once the game got under a minute and Mahomes had the ball, you got 2 timeouts in your pocket. Use them on defense. I don't know why coaches don't do that. Use them on defense.
Why are you taking them with you? You can't do nothing with them at the house.
Okay, at least we can rest right now. And even if he scores, it was just a lot of little nuggets down the stretch, man. I was like, it could have been a lot. They could have did a lot of things. Real quick with Brock Purdy, I'm gonna say this. Wasn't a dynamic game, but it was a defensive struggle early on. It was spotty. I think the kid played okay. I think he got potential to be better. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say if he would have won all that. I'm saying he did not play a game where if they would have won, you would have looked up and been like, yeah, he played good enough to win. But he also played not so good that they lost, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't like, even with Patrick Mahomes, until he threw that last touchdown, he only had one, and he threw a bad pick. At least Purdy ain't throw no bad picks, but at least Purdy was throwing the ball away. He had 3 throws where you can go back and look and say, but all 3 of those throws were on first down. So they weren't like critical throws. The other throws that he didn't make, you can make a case that his line didn't hold up. And to your point, even with that one play, they told him, don't take a sack. So
yeah, they did. They were like, that was the last thing they said to him as he was going on to the field.
I mean, and
they were like, you can't take a sack here.
That makes sense.
Which is fair. You can't take a sack there.
Yeah, I think like I said, I saw him make some plays, and I saw a lot of potential. I'm gonna tell you one person that did not show up. I don't know if it was just the play calling or he just wasn't getting open, but George Kittle had a lot to say, and he didn't show up. He wasn't. I don't know where George Kittle was in that game. And Debo cannot stay he cannot stay healthy, boy. I mean, like, dang, bro.
Well, first of all, they had taken the Chiefs defense. They had done a good job. Spag had done a good job of taking Debo out of the game anyway, before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But you're right. Like, Debo, I was like, that dude can't stay on the field.
Hey, man, you sneeze on that dude right now. He got a sprained shoulder. Like, what's going on, Debo? Like, dang, bro.
Which is funny because when they were playing Detroit, before they were playing Detroit, you know, him and Gardner, DB, they were going back and forth on social media because, you know, Debo done talked more trash than a little bit all off season about
all season, yeah.
About all things Eagles. And so even since Gardner was on the Eagles last year, he was on him this year. So, but when Gardner responded to him before they played the NFC Championship game, Gardner was like, he said, I don't even know why Debo talking. He was like, he gonna go down in the game anyway. Buddy don't finish. He was like, Buddy don't finish. And sure enough, Dude went down in the NFC Championship game. I was like, Lord.
People respect Debo for what he can do and all that, but you gotta be available, man. I can't call plays and expect certain plays to be ready, available, and then because certain plays you're calling specifically for Debo.
Right. And because when he
certain
went
kind of
out in that
routes and
game,
certain plays.
Kyle Shanahan said he lost half of his plays because they have so many plays with Debo is factored in the play.
And I don't even know as a coach how you coach that, because it's the same thing with Mike McDaniels when Tyreek Hill went out. I had to give him a little bit of a pass, which is the reason why I said that we should have started running the ball more in a couple of those games, because honestly, our next best player was Raheem Mostert, and for some reason we didn't want to run the ball. But the next thing I was saying is that when you lose Debo, I don't, people say, well, Brock Purdy should be able to elevate the team. I was like, it's all a package deal. Look, Patrick Mahomes look, I ain't taking nothing away from Patrick Mahomes, but stop pretending like Andy Reid is not this man's coach. And Andy Reid helped draft this man. And Andy Reid believed in this man. Remember, Andy Reid was balling with Alex Smith, who a lot of people think about it. Alex Smith had been to the ringer and back. The man was in the league for like 10 years and still wasn't getting any respect, and was in there making the AFC Championship game.
He had been written off.
So as good as Patrick Mahomes has been, and I told you, I said that first year he really started is one of those anomaly years that you just like, oh my God, $5,000. But Andy Reid knows what he's doing with a coach. Nobody believed in Donovan McNabb when he took him, and he made that man a star. Like, you gotta be able. Shanahan has to understand what he has and what he can do. Obviously, Purdy is still a little limited in the sense of his experience. It's only his second year, but he still did what he could.
And it's only his first year starting.
The first year truly starting, right? He did what he could. But if you take a Debo out of the game for half of the second half, it's going to affect your offense, especially when you are still playing against the number 2, number 3 defense in the league. It's not like the Chiefs were complete Swiss cheese. To your point, I think if they would have kept running the ball, they could have worn down a little bit more. But I mean, you talking about 1st and 10, they just drop back pass. I'm like, damn, every first down we drop back and passing? Like, dang, okay, Purdy, we just gonna put it all on Purdy. What? I was like, poor kid. I was like, poor kid.
Not that, and again, he's not that guy, but that goes to show that they panic because they realize we need to score more points. But you can score more points and do it slowly and keep the guy off the field.
Slowly.
Score the point slowly. Let's go ahead and take 15 minutes off the clock and leave Patrick Mahomes over there. Because here's what I know. Here's the thing. I know we're thinking, well, if they'd have been under a minute, maybe the Chiefs wouldn't have gotten down there and tied up the game. But we've seen them do it in 15 seconds. So there's that.
Especially when you only need 3 and you got the kicker. But you got a kicker kicking 60-yard field goals, bro. Like,
right. But I will say this: your chances are better that they don't get down there and tie up the game if you leave less time than if you leave more time.
Yeah, of course.
Run the ball. Run the damn ball.
And again, if you don't run the ball, then throw a swing pass. It's basically a toss. Throw, boom, 1, 2, swing. Like, that's one of the most, if you go back and look at football in the 80s and the 90s, that was one of the most common plays. 1, 2,
and especially because all of your players, your key offensive players, Debo, CMC, Kittle, Ayuk, what are they known for? Yards after the catch.
And how many plays?
Roll the ball 3 yards and let them do their job.
How many plays? I honestly think at one point in the game he was. And here's the thing: Purdy can throw the ball down the field. We know he can. If he drops back, he plants the back foot. He's got vision. He can deliver the ball. Most quarterbacks can deliver that ball. Most. But Purdy is a little better than most, right? He's better than a Rex Grossman. He's better than a Jay Cutler in a little bit. Like, you can see it. But my point is, that is probably your bread and butter, is to get the balls on these bubble screens, on these swings. We didn't see a lot of that in the game.
No.
And I don't know if it was because the defenses. I got to go back and look again. What the defense is playing, because they do play a man. So when you play a man, you got to get guys out there to block and get those one-on-ones, and then hopefully you get an advantage. In the zone is a little easier because they're just guarding the space. You get it out there in space, and then they can figure out where to go. But a lot of times, I was just looking at the game like it looks like he's trying to prove. Like I don't know if he was trying to prove that he could get Purdy to get the ball down the field. I don't know. I just thought, like you said, at the end of the day, I think CMC should have touched the ball a little bit more. But there was still times there was other things that could have won that game. It was so many little things in that game that could have went. They could have did different. But.
Yeah, we said that last week. We was like, listen, if I got CMC, y'all gonna get sick of seeing him.
I told you he should have touched the ball up to 30, at least 20 up to 30. I would have gave him the ball per possession. He would have had the ball 3 out of every 4 plays. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Listen,
I would have gave him the ball and I wouldn't have cared. Huh?
Right. We're getting off the bus running.
Yeah, you can run the ball, you can swing it.
Just like we all knew that
you can hand it to him.
Which, by the way, let me just say Spags.
Uh-oh. What?
Steve Spagnuolo, Spags.
He's the most underrated coach. He's
defensive coordinator. He's a good defensive coordinator. We had him in Philly before he went to the Giants. He's a good defensive coordinator. But to be clear, because he learned under, God rest his soul, Jim Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay? He learned under Jim Johnson. And as an Eagles fan, here's what you know about what Jim Johnson was going to do. He was going to bring the pressure. He was going to live.
Yeah.
Steve is the same way, and he is a fantastic defensive coordinator, but he kicks it up a notch in the biggest games when it matters the most.
That's when you're supposed to. And you play and you don't be scared. You believe in the ability of your team that they can get it done.
Absolutely. Here's what I'm gonna do. This is how we got here, and that's what I respect about him. He was like, "This is how we got here, so this is what we're gonna do to win it. And if it doesn't work, then fine. But what you're not gonna do is say that I changed my game plan and I got away from who we are.
Yeah.
This is who we are. This is what we do."
Yeah. And you give him credit too, because you've seen him now do it a few different ways and be able to be on winning teams and and 2 of those times he was the big difference, their side of the ball, because as good as Patrick Mahomes and those guys were down the stretch, the defense was solid all game long.
Defense kept them in that game.
Yeah, the defense was solid.
Chiefs don't win without their defense.
Well, they were very solid the entire game, and then when they needed to make the plays, they made the plays. They made Brock Purdy throw the ball away. They made the plays. Huh?
Their secondary is about to be scary.
Well, that's what I was gonna give him credit. He's coached. He's got a young team, and he's able.
Yes,
the last 2 years he's had a young team. And then he had a veteran team with the Giants and beat arguably one of the second best offense we ever seen in football or something like that. Other than the right, so you do look at how he's been able to do it with different personnel, different situations, different games against people say, "Oh, it's Brock Purdy," and this. I'm like, yeah, but Brock Purdy, you blinked this year and they were putting up 30. So it's for them to hold them to 22 or whatever the last. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a big deal. And the way they did it down the stretch, they made the plays down the stretch. Like the games, Jason was like, "Oh, the missed extra point and everything." I was like, if he makes the extra point, they're up 4. I was like, y'all tend to forget what happened on the next series. The Chiefs scored a touchdown. It wouldn't have mattered. They scored a touchdown. It wasn't like they, because if only they're down 3, it was different. I said, you think the Chiefs go into every possession thinking they want 3? They go into every possession trying to get 7. Six to 7. Look, 6 to 7, maybe even 8. They go into every possession thinking we gonna score a touchdown. I was like, so they would have went up 4. They score a touchdown. They go up 3, do it, and just for kicks, we gonna go for 2 and go up 4. Like, I was like, it didn't matter. I said they got the ball 3 more times after that. The San Francisco 49ers. They played soft zone. I said they started playing not to lose, even after missing that field goal.
And also in overtime, that's overtime. This overtime thing. Not only had the Chiefs talked about it with their players and everything, they had played out the whole scenario. Because when they talked to them after the game, and they were talking about, it might have been different if the 49ers had scored a touchdown first. And Patrick Mahomes was like, and Travis Kelce, they were like, well, if they had scored the touchdown, then we knew we had to score the touchdown and we were going to go for 2. They had everything. Situational football, man. Listen.
They're going to go for the win every single time.
Andy Reid did not miss a beat with coaching them up.
Let me do one better for you. It's Andy Reid. But this is the point I forgot to make earlier about the players. If you think about real life scenarios, right, there's management, right? We work, you may have somebody work for you and then that person got somebody working, or you might work for somebody else. Everybody got a boss, blah, 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 right?
Right.
Andy Reid is the coach. He has total responsibility. So it's always easy. If anything under that umbrella happens, you can always, it's Andy Reid. Andy Reid should have known, whatever. Right. But the reality of it is he's got coordinators, right? Coordinators have coaches. And then there's this thing called captains. Captains of each team and captains of each position and captains of each team. When you look at Hard Knocks, there's one alpha in every room. That's the person. You know what I'm saying? The receiver room, there's an alpha. Right. This defensive room, there's an alpha. Linebacker. And then there's the actual captains on the team. Even if the damn coach doesn't relay the message, there is still responsibility as captains and players that you should know the rules. You should know the rules. I cannot go to the boss up top to say it's your fault that the person that reports to me got somebody hurt on the floor. They should know the safety protocols. Right. The person up top shouldn't have to tell us the safety protocols. They shouldn't have to tell us the rules of compliance. They shouldn't have to tell us not to steal from the company, right? The person that steals from the company, they report to me. They don't report to this guy up here. You should know the freaking rules yourself. You watch the play. And again, you saw what happened to Josh Allen. It was on ESPN. It was on every sports net. You saw them change the rules. Why the hell do the captains not know the rules? That's where you know there's that culture. That's why the Chiefs and the Patriots and these teams, even when the Steelers are winning games when they shouldn't win, there's certain people in the culture that are making sure people know certain things so that it's not always the responsibility laid on the coach. The players should know stuff too.
Yes, do your job. And that's what on Monday when I was what was I looking at? I was looking at Get Up, and they were showing the interview. They were showing the interview of the 49ers players saying they didn't know the rules. And when they came back to the table just Saturday, and Dominique Foxworth were like this, and Mike Greenberg said, he was like, guys, and they were like, listen, too much honesty.
First of all, like I said, first of all, you lie. But if you, I just,
you don't tell anybody that you don't know the rules.
I'm like, but that's the thing that I started thinking about. I'm like, yes, Shanahan has responsibility, but we always want to just say it's just him, the preparation, because what you want to say is he overcomes the stupidity of his players not knowing the rules by preparing them and reminding them of the rules. That's what you want. But you ain't gonna tell me that you say the Patrick Mahomes, the Travis Kelce's. I bet you MVS even knew the damn rules. You know what I'm saying? Like there's players that you. Something. Yeah, but that's my point. Pacheco knew the rules. He was trolling them on the post game with Chris Berman and Booker McFarland too. He was like, we were the better prepared team. He just looked at him and said, he was like, better prepared. I was like, wow, it's all good. And now they want to, they talking about dynasty and everything. Yeah, I mean, look, the definition of dynasty changes every month, every year. But of course, it's a dynasty. They've been in 6 freaking.
Well, I don't think it has changed in the NFL. I can't recall them calling any team a dynasty until they've gotten 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but I guess so, yeah. I was just saying 3 and 4 years, 3 and 5 years, if this team.
Yeah, no, I feel like once you get 3, if they're and it's the same four of players, like not just three in the history of your team, but three, and it's the same core, like your coach.
See, that's the thing. That's the funny thing about. It's funny that you say that, because the only four, relatively speaking, is Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones, and Andy Reid as the coach. They've even changed coordinators. Right. So it's kind of like,
right, they've even changed coordinators.
But and a lot of the players on defense have changed, and a lot of players on offense have actually changed. So it's interesting. I mean they're a dynasty. I'm not trying to say they're not. I'm just saying
they're a dynasty. But even like with the Patriots, the only core people for the Patriots was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
But I guess it was funny. Greeny brought it up today. He was saying that he looks at it as a split. He's like, there was a core 7 to 8. There was a core 7 years when they won 3, went to 4, and then they had another set where it was some core players where they had, because if you think about it, early years wasn't Gronkowski and the Edelmans. It was the Welkers and the Troy Browns and the
right.
And I forgot Ben Coates and all those guys. And then of course the defense was carrying them a little bit more then, and then Brady. Like you said, that third Super Bowl, he started to come around and get in his prime, and then the other three, which is funny to me, they went 5, they went another 5, and they won 3, and so he was saying to him it was like 2 sets because there were different core, and then one was defensive led and one was offensive led, kind of more.
Yeah.
So I was like, that makes sense to me. Of course, if you look at it over the 15 to 20 years, it was just Brady and Belichick at the end of the day.
Right.
But my thing is like, they're a dynasty. They need to sign Chris Jones. Go ahead and give him that money, because people tend to forget that Travis Kelce wasn't the only one playing that first game of that season. Remember, Chris Jones sat out. But the bottom line is they need to sign him now, at least to like a 3-year deal, while you got this young core of defense, before you have to pay all the rest of them D-backs. They may have to pay Snead as well, but we'll see. And as good as the AFC can be, we all will go into next season. And this is something I want to get on to talk about real quick. We looked at this past season. We saw what the Ravens was doing, all these teams. The Dolphins got off hot. Josh Allen and the Bills, all this stuff. Then they had injuries. Herbert and them boys didn't do nothing. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we thought Jacksonville might turn the corner up. They went backwards. Oh, where Houston come from? And all I'm telling people is this. Given what you've seen now the last couple of years and seen the results of what the Chiefs have been able to do in situational football, beating teams, whatever it is. They got into the mountaintop twice with teams that we did not expect them to get to the mountaintop with. Let's be honest. We know the Chiefs are good. We got Patrick Mahomes, we got Andy Reid. Right. But when you looked at the landscape of the AFC going into the last 2 years, you saw Joe Burrow over here. You saw, you saw all these teams with this. Right. They can get them. And they didn't, for whatever reason, right? One team didn't want to run the ball. This team got hurt. Whatever.
Right.
You can't sit here and tell me right now that people are going to go into the next season in the AFC thinking anything else other than we're going to have to see it before we believe it, because you ain't going to get me to bet against that team until somebody else beats them. I'm done taking the Lamars, done taking the Dolphins. I'm done taking Joe Burrow. I like Joe Burrow. I'm done, because you got to be in the field to win. So as good as Joe Burrow is, he gets hurt.
Which I think people don't. I don't think people have put enough. What do I want to say? Enough emphasis on this particular injury with Joe Burrow, because his injury is to his throwing hand. That's his wrist on his throwing hand.
I'm saying there's so many.
We don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back to start next season.
And this is what I'm saying. There are so many more question marks for me next season now. Because think about it, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers could get to the Super Bowl. We were talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, the AFC is loaded. I'm like, really? Are they? Are they now?
They are, but here's the thing. They are, because again, the Ravens were the best team, but you got to get out of your own way and out of your own head.
I would be more of a threat to see San Francisco not make it back than I would the Chiefs. So that's another, I guess, to your point, the teams are loaded, but will they be able to beat the Chiefs? To me, I think the Chiefs have a better chance of getting back. And I look at the 49ers, I'm like, there's a lot of young teams that, as good as the 49ers can be, there's a lot of teams that I think could beat them, I guess.
But I also feel like teams aren't afraid of the 49ers like teams are afraid of the Chiefs.
That's exactly that's the Mahomes Andy Reid effect. I'm with you.
Right. Like I said, it's it really is.
Yeah, you're right. I gotta see where you're going with that. They're loaded, but when it's all on the line, when it's on the line,
there are teams in play. There are teams in the AFC that can beat the Chiefs, but they got to get out of their head and believe that they can beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you got to believe that you can beat the Chiefs. Like, the 49ers are good.
Look, if the teams in the AFC...
But nobody's afraid of the 49ers. Nobody's afraid that Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy are always going to come in and figure out a way to beat you. Like, nobody's afraid of that.
Yeah,
if they win, and
different.
You can see how they win.
That mystique is different.
Right. It's a different mystique, and it's a different mentality. So, to your point, with that, yes, the up-and-coming teams in the NFC can be completely turned upside down on its head next year. The teams that you think might be in the top might not be there in the top. I think we're going to be fine, but I think the Eagles are going to be fine. Like I said, the wheels fell off, but we're going to get it back together.
Think about it. If the teams in the AFC, the better teams in the AFC, had the mentality of the Raiders when they play the Chiefs. You see what I'm saying? Like, the Raiders play the Chiefs like there's no tomorrow. Yeah. We going up in y'all, win or lose. If those teams had that same mentality, like, because they're like, they're not talented, right? They didn't win as many games. They'll be better next year. They get but my point is, they always go in the game against the Chiefs because of the rivalry. Like, I don't care who's over there. I don't care if Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if freaking Joe Montana, the Chief, is over there. Like, they don't care.
Right.
A lot of teams don't play them like that. A lot of teams don't play them like that.
Like, when people always talk about, when they were talking about the Eagles, when we were playing the Giants, and they were like, well, y'all got the Giants 2 of your last 3 games. And I always tell people, I'm like, that's not going to be an easy game.
That's not going to be an easy game.
And I'm like, the Giants might suck, but they going to play to beat us.
It's the same concept as Duke Carolina basketball. There was years where Carolina sucked. There was years where Duke sucked. But Duke Carolina basketball, it don't matter. Somebody bleeding.
Never disappoint.
Somebody bleeding.
It's like the Ravens and the Steelers. That matchup.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad one team is over the up. Listen.
Somebody's bleeding.
We don't like each other, and so what we're gonna do is fight for these 4 quarters.
Somebody's bleeding. Somebody's bleeding. I'm gonna miss football a little bit, but we'll get into basketball mode here. Start looking. I don't.
I'm always look. I wore my weekend for football shirt one last time.
Yeah.
Put it away until next season.
Who signed Kyle Lowry? Who cares? Kyle Lowry. We got rid of Patrick Beverly.
I'm not doing this with you tonight, Pete. I'm going to bed.
I know.
I'm not doing this with you.
I know. I'm just mad right now. You know that. So, all right, man. Take care.
All right. Holla.
Peace.